Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake Chats 2017. I want to scratch the surface of something that is so weird and such an anomaly that I can only state it as such. And you're going to hear whirs and drips and all kinds of stuff because I'm in my favored broadcast area and I'm washing my dishes and making coffee. So if you hear weird sounds, sometimes you hear the garbage men and sometimes you hear sirens and sometimes you hear drips. Welcome home. I'm just doing this from my home, padding around the house thinking, what the fuck? Like that, okay? Thankfully, at the end of this thing, this isn't just a check-in and channel. I'm gonna have to do some work around this, so I want to explain a couple of things, and it has to do with rebirth. It has to do with Ascension, and with astrology, and with visions, and with deep questions that had no answers. Sound good? It's worth the ticket of admission, isn't it? I'm just gonna riff because it's important. First of all, I don't do charts and graphs and numbers and stuff like that. That's not my deal. When I look at astrology, I'm looking at gestalts. I'm looking at personality structure. Aren't you? Oh my God, I just met this cute Leo. Oh my God, I gotta check him out and see, am I compatible? Well, it often starts like that. Started like that with me. And of course, with a deep inquiry into self, you know, what the heck's going on here? Ooh, another answer? Let me see. Does it seem to make sense? Does it speak to a symmetry that is not evident on Earth and in my relationships, but I can take it to the bank? It's all very coherent. Yeah, that's what astrology was like for me. But it was just an explanation as to why people behave the way they do. And oftentimes I didn't understand why I behaved as I did, but I wanted to know why other people did their deals. So I learned astrology sort of backhanded that way. It's no accident that I got so freaking obsessed with it recently, though. And that the truth just went doing one morning or one night, and it's just like, it all made sense. And that's just one of the two stories, okay? That's what I want to explain. In my natal chart, let's just review, and for those, I'm just going to do a quick explanation of what I understand. I'm no expert, okay? But my sun is conjunct Mercury. They're 2 degrees apart. Oh no, 5 or less. I don't remember. I think it's 8 and 6. I don't remember. Anyway, it's close. That means that the sun sort of combusts Mercury, and Mercury amplifies the sun, and Mercury is how we think and stuff like that. Which for me, it's in Pisces, so it's dreamy and la la la, and retrograde. So there's lots of do-overs. This whole life has been a do-over life. It's a retrograde life. I've got 4 planets in retrograde. And opposite this queer placement of the sun and Mercury burning each other up, looking directly at them. They're lying on top of each other, 6 degrees, there, in front of me, opposing. My sun is my north node, and Pluto retrograde. They're one in the same. And Pluto retrograde, Pluto is the house of death, of destruction, of transformation, of going into the underworld. Oftentimes these lives are marked with intense trauma, and sometimes the degree will show you when. Sometimes not. But this chart, doesn't it speak Does it speak to you? It's been speaking to me. At the sink, seeing for a lifetime. Nothing else really seems to matter. Nothing else is in my focus like this. My destiny. Ascension. Complete. Complete. Transformation. At the cellular level. And the other aspects, it's freaky. And I wish somebody had really just been honest about it. Venus and Mars conjunct, come on. Pluto in the first house. Talk about sexual magnetism, and there's more. There's so much more in that chart. Holy Mother of God. No wonder I walked around feeling like everybody was rapo. Around me they are. And I fucking dig that energy. I love it. Finally coming home into the community that is sex positive and kink and all that stuff, it's like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? And finally normal. Holy shit. But you know, there's something else about me. Because I've walked around this whole lifetime, apologizing for me, knowing that I'm like a walking finger of God. I'm like a walking tower card. And in this mix of sexual magnetism and, oh my God, so much depth and sensuality and intelligence. Can you imagine when there is a link up with even one of those aspects? Oh, and when they were really singing? Of course, I had profound, karmic, and transformative relationships. And of course, at this point in my life, I've killed each and every one of them. Dead. Killed them dead. They're fucking dead. Fucking stillbirths, all of them. All of them. And each one of those people go on to happiness. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And look at me. Look at me. I'm kind of tired of that. I'm tired of it. Isn't there a myth like that? Of a woman who's given the gift of sight. And everywhere she goes, everyone finds love. Except her. I think there is. I think there is. So I've carried a lot of wounds and a lot of depth for a long time. In a world that screams for superficiality and easy answers and simple loyalties. There's more to life than that. So this fucking collie comes around and really messes people up sometimes. You better believe it. And I've been fucked up too as a result. And look at me. Look what I was poised to do. By 2011, my 50th year. This weird thought, I'll admit it. What happens if I really am living two lives in one? Couldn't it be seen that that May 25th event in 2012, when I was visited by light and had a long, long, long conversation of bliss and rapture with it, and then immediately after that, all the lights in the casino and all of the electricity went down. And I was told that was a hard physical reset of the net. And then I went out into my car and had 2 NDEs and lots of visions, and physically died a couple times, it would appear. Was that a birthday? Was that a death day? I've known it to be that. And I know it was my Ascension day. But I thought, just for fun, I would look at the time of the teacher's Ascension on the 12/12 of 94 at 12/12/12. And I saw the geometries and I understood. Just a little. And then, through the night, and into the morning, and in the shower, I worked out what day it was that I had that vision. It wasn't in February like I reported yesterday. I get dyslexic and confused. It was February. It was April. So in the shower, I'm channeling and running the numbers, and they're having so much fun with me because they're running each of the numbers, and it was the 25th. So I went to the Google machine and I punched in those numbers. I'd already seen the geometry from when the teachers ascended, and I looked at the astrology for May 25th of 2012, thinking that my birthday, I wanted to see it. And last night, and all during the day yesterday and last night, I contemplated that. What does this really mean? Am I adopting new geometries? Am I adopting new limitations? Is there amnesia with the old way? How do I do this? This morning it becomes more clear. On that April night, when I saw a quasar, the most beautiful light I've ever seen, that I long for. And I heard the many words, and then they told me loud as anything, the son of Antares is born. And I knew it was like a Christmas. I knew it was very holy and attended to by many. I didn't know what it meant. I was on a shift. I was in the middle of a smoke break, for goodness sake. And a month later I had that light thing, and I explained it, and from the part of me that didn't think that was even okay, as well as the part of me that went through it. It's a very fascinating essay. But I thought, I was urged in the shower, go ahead and look at those numbers. See about that birthday. See if you like it better. Because I had arguments. I found the geometries of the Ascension Day vapid, shallow. There wasn't enough opportunity for everything I know. So I ran it. And my body shook and cried when I saw. And then I read about the conjuncts and the sextiles, and it is everything I want. It's everything I wish I could be in this world. Not the scared person who is always hurting people without wanting to. And they want to possess me. But they don't want to walk with me. I'm really super tired of that. Was it them or was it me? Well, can we just kind of assume it was a combo? And here I am. But the weird thing is that, my dad, my sister, my friends, a very dear friend. They're in my reality in 2012, but I had that experience in April and they came later. So it can't be something that's like a stop-start. And May 25th, well, that's the day I graduated nursing school. It's the day that my son graduated kindergarten. That was a really key day. And I began to realize, come on now, look at all the conjuncts in my natal chart. Look at what sign I'm in. Pisces, 2 fish. Silly. The son of Antares is born in the heart of the Scorpion, the ruler, the lord of Pluto. And something begins to happen. Different geometries begin to emerge. And there is dissonance. Who am I? Well, that question was, taped on the inside of my eyelids, basically, with my old natal chart. But I finally began to have answers. I finally began to understand in 2012. And so I have studied. I don't have to, though. That's my birthday. April 25, 2012. At 3 o'clock in the morning in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. And I am in agreement. There's so much raw sexuality in that chart. But there's so much honesty. So little that is in opposition or argument. The planets are well placed. And the augurs are good. And it's well with my soul. I had nothing but questions thinking about the 25th. And nothing but relief once I saw my chart from April. Was it the 23rd? Was it the 24th? Was it the 27th? For me and my house, it was the 25th. And so I think for a while, it could very well be that what I was experiencing, describing, and what you were witnessing was the bigger part of me, holding all of this together. You think? Because they're two operating systems, that's all. There are two ways of thinking about myself and explaining things. They came through so much last night, and it was so beautiful, unifying, so amazing. This idea that we're so justified, so absolutely brilliantly beautiful and perfect as we are. And there's so much more, and I wish I knew it, and I don't. It escaped me. I don't know if that matters so much. It matters because I'd like to be able to language it and give it away. This is a very, very unusual paradigm shift, or alternative is what I think it is. And I'm sitting there looking at my bookshelf, kind of thinking, wow, I don't even know if I want to do this. This is really breaking rules. And, there they are. Yeah, just because it's brand new doesn't mean it's not real. Just because it's brand new doesn't mean it hasn't been done before. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's new. And it's been done before. And it's uncomfortable. And it's sort of been explained this whole time without actually saying it. But bottom line, if I live 2 lives in one, what? Is one life under this dome of geometry, of this constant opposition and all that energy? Is it between that and whoa? I thought so. It was hard for me to figure out how I was going to be whoa as I was like in line at the grocery store. So I focused on love. Well, that's a really good focus. But there is such a thing as having expectations, having a way. What makes Bob different than Joe? Well, quite a lot. What makes Kathy 1 different from Kathy 2? What makes Kathy different from this son of Antares? Geometries. So, to end, I will channel. I want to. I'm already there, but I want to just give you a little bit of a gift. I've talked so much about geometries. Let's pull it together. Because, you know, as I see it, as I've been told and I understand, geometries spring from sound. Sound is, well, it's sacred, it's holy, and it is quite powerful. And I can walk around with these keys of initiation, of orientation, of death, of birth, of a soul's destruction, of chaos, pestilence, war, famine, rape, subjugation, imprisonment. They say that the North Node says a lot about a person, their destiny, what they're here to overcome. I read about the North Node in Pluto in the first house. And my understanding is that someone with this kind of conjunction and mine is in Virgo, it's my ascendant, with Pisces, my sun, in opposition, conjoined with Mercury retrograde. This particular placement, Pluto in the North Node in the first house, obviously, it's a sign of deep transformation. Retrograde, that Pluto, and you're talking ascension. But why? Why? It speaks to having been imprisoned. It speaks to having become lost in another. It speaks about a long road back into self. It is the sign. If I ever needed confirmation of why I was here, why I showed up, that bleak twilight in February in a snowstorm. What better way to come? Something so hot, delivered into a snowbank. There's stories I just don't want to run anymore. I don't have to. I've learned my lesson. The lesson is to be okay with me. And I wasn't, because I didn't even know what that was. How could I? So simple. So deep. So beautiful. I'm just really, 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 really relieved about my chart in April. Oh, it's so beautiful. I can't wait to begin. I can't wait to begin to research and fall in love all over again, for I am deeply, deeply in love with this newest version of Kali. Really am. And I'm realizing that I can flip into that without any hesitation at all. That depth hasn't been erased. And that's how I really want to end. We talk about reincarnation. And there's this idea that, oh yes, we become completely different people. And yet, it's said that there is this part of us that walks alongside every single time we're alive, saying, hey, how's it going today? Feeling good? I am. Like that, okay? Our soul, our higher self, whatever you want to call it. What does that really mean? There's a bigger part that really can allow and accept and love all these different expressions. And all these different expressions are that thing. Well, all right. In that case, this is how I've been thinking it through now. In that case, I have this bigger coherent thing that carries me along and pushes me and, comforts me and instructs me. But then I have expressions in the world. I have things I gotta do. There's certain music I really dig and certain music I won't even go near. Certain people I can't get enough of. And certain people I really don't like and have no problem telling them in a very polite way. Is that okay? And what happens if these preferences, these peccadillos, these requirements, these expectations become my reality? Well, if I'm in agreement with those new geometries and they feel good, they feel better, is there anyone around here to ask permission? Is there anyone around here with enough authority to tell me it's okay? The only person who would have authority, in my opinion, would be someone who's gone through it. I'm not an elitist. You don't have to have this particular, configuration. Come on. You don't. But isn't it pretty plain by now what my role is around here? Look at these eclipses. Holy crap. It was the end of a life, I kept saying. Well, doy. Alright, lay it down then. What happens next? Well, I think through sheer brain power and DNA activation and hopefully some light experiences and this eclipse, I will fully embody the lifetime that I agreed to while I was smoking and feverishly looking for some place to write down the messages I was receiving. So am I a star person? Yeah. I'm the son of Antares. From the heart of the Scorpion. And I can take on whatever personality I so choose. And it's not picking out, I think I'm going to be like a drag queen, or I think I'm going to be this persona. No. It has to do with magnetics. It has to do with geometry. It has to do with insight. And it has to do with plutonic transformation, also known as Ascension. I like that. So I want to tell you what I am, okay? I'm in love with this chart. So, hopefully this is, going to inflame your desire to know astrology. But do it so that you understand yourself better, right? Isn't it a roadmap? Isn't it nice we gave ourselves this? Hey, they said it. I dig it. All right? When I heard God is the physics that doesn't argue with itself, it's like, doing. Finally, somebody's talking sense around here. And then, when I heard them say, astrology, your natal chart, that's your way to identify you. To who? To your neighbor? To your lover? To your spouse? To your kids? No, to you. Oh. Of course. So I'm going to take the opportunity that was given to me through vision, through readiness, through willingness to cleanse. By April, I'd been ill for 5 months. I wasn't able to eat or drink without pain. And by that time, I was probably about 80 pounds lighter. And finally fitting into 18s after a lifetime of being in size 28. By that time, my hair had started to curl. By that time, my body could tolerate nickel alloy and other alloys, and I could wear earrings again. Yes. I had physical changes, and they happened before, during, and after these activations. Given the level of vision I have, given the intelligence it took to realize this needed to be documented, I don't know. I think I'm just in a very, very unusual circumstance or position. And if you like what I have to say, and it's beginning to make sense, like it's beginning to make sense to me, it's just freaking mythology, and the only thing that I want you doing with it is to get right with yourself. Look at your own self. Even if you're totally at peace with yourself, look at what you chose. Look what you chose. Look what it implies. Look how much it can contain. Taste its flavor. know its truth. And then agree or disagree. And remember this weird nurse in Denver who had this weird experience and feels justified and normalized by taking on a new natal chart as a result of all of these activations. For indeed, I've done that. Part of what I'm going to use the eclipse for is to bring this to them. They'll make it right. If I'm way off base, I'll know. And if I'm right on the money, I'll know. But it will be one of the questions in my heart, in my mind. And making my mouth curl up because I'm so happy. It's a fine, fine question to have. Alright, so what am I? Get this. It's so pretty. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I just love it. Oh, I would date her. Isn't it funny? Alright, or him. I really would. Hotness. Hotness, hotness. Oh, maybe I didn't even write it down. Damn. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. Ready? Okay. The sun is in Taurus. Oh, at 33 degrees, at 5 degrees, 33 minutes. And it stands alone, but it's really close to Jupiter. It's actually conjunct Jupiter. And Venus and the moon are conjunct. Mercury and Jupiter are together, and neither of them are retrograde. My north node is at 5 degrees Sag, and my Mars 4 degrees Virgo, opposite Neptune at 2 degrees. I love that. And then my sweet, sweet Pluto. Of course, it's in retrograde at 9 degrees in Capricorn. It trines my Sun and Mars in Virgo. It has enough tension. Retrograde Saturn in Libra. Ooh. To add some flavor, but holy God. Mercury and Jupiter in Aries. Venus and the moon in Gemini. The sun and Jupiter in Taurus. So pretty, so pretty, so pretty. So, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. It was an unconventional way to get there. And it was through identity and destruction. And always knowing. It was okay. It's going to be okay. And always being pissed. I was going through it anyway. Kicking and screaming. And now, I can live in accord. Damn. It feels good not to be afraid of myself. It feels good not to feel guilty. It feels good to not need to, I don't know. that natal chart I had, it brought out a lot of things in people, you know? And I didn't understand it. It was never very clear to me. I like this other way better. Been living in a while. But if I've learned anything, it's that everything goes better if I read the instructions and follow them. So I'll be studying. Happily. Not obsessively. I never was an obsessive. I had Antares to help me with that. It's just amazing. Now I understand why they kept saying, boron, boron, take a look at this, boron, come on, decode this stuff. It'll be great, but mission accomplished. DNA, astrology, biological coding. They're all geometric. They're all expressions of consciousness. Who is the master of consciousness? The one who knows they are. The one who knows. By virtue of the question being posed, that the answer is larger, more hidden, and more true than the question. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.